Hey, I'm Georgia Lyons and welcome to Intros. Today on the show we have a very special guest, Bella Rafflyn, joining me. Bella, welcome to Intros.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Really good to have you. We briefly chatted earlier as you came in this morning and clarified that both of us feel like we've had many 30-second conversations over the years that maybe have added up to like 10 minutes of 30-second conversations.
I reckon about 10 minutes.
So this is maybe our first official real person sit-down conversation, which I love. I just feel like we're missing like a cup of tea or something.
Yeah, or maybe like instruments. Like usually when we see each other, I feel like it's in green rooms or at shows, at gigs.
Yes.
And we're having to be like, what?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Yeah. Good to see you.
Really good to have you.
Yeah.
You are everywhere. You are doing so many wonderful things. You are a part of a really wonderful band, Coast Arcade, and you are now doing your own solo project, Bella Rafflyn. Mm-hmm. Tell me about the journey. How did you get to here?
I started playing guitar when I was 7. From like a real young age, my parents loved having music around the house. They're super into grunge.
Cool.
My mum's a Nirvana, Soundgarden, Chris Cornell girly. My dad's like the Pixies, Pearl Jam, like, you know.
Amazing.
So I grew up on grunge, but pretty eclectic. Like Dad would listen to like hip hop and all of it, anything in between. And I only ever wanted to play guitar. I didn't want to be a singer. I was really strong on that.
Okay.
Don't know why. I don't know, in my head I was like, I am like a kick-ass guitarist.
Just me.
I literally, do you know who Slash is?
Yes.
Yeah. So I gave myself the nickname Blash because Bella Slash, obviously Blash.
That's really cute.
Yeah, I wrote it on my door, like that was my thing. And then I kind of, through primary school, got into a few bands through kind of BandQuest. That was kind of where I started thinking about bands and kind of writing music. And then I went to high school, I put together more bands, and then it was like RockQuest, time to upgrade, time to write your own songs rather than playing covers. 2 years into high school, the singer of that band left. And so I kind of went home to my dad and I was like, I don't have a band, like, oh my God, my life is over. Flash is dying a death. And he was kind of like, well, I mean, there's lots of bands that have no singers, so you could do that, or you could sing.
Did you know you could sing at that point? Was it like...
I couldn't. Singing has never come natural to me. It's always been something that not only have I been really kind of shy and not into doing, but then I was not one of those kids who kind of opened their mouth and people would be like, oh, wow. It was like, oh, I think you should play guitar. Like, oh, ouch. I sing in my accent, like the way I talk is the way I sing. And so that was kind of weird because working out whether I should be singing with like an American accent or like trying to overcome that. And I think it wasn't until I came across role models like Liz Stokes, like Courtney Barnett, who sung in their accent. I was like, okay, I can do that. Like there's a pathway there. And then things kind of started to click. I mean, I still don't feel like I'm really natural at singing. I think I've still got a lot of work to do to feel really comfortable doing it, but now I enjoy it.
So you currently juggle a lot of hats. You're managing yourself, you are managing your band, and there's a lot of things that go into that. What is that like, carrying all of those roles for not only yourself but also your band?
I've always enjoyed the business side of the music industry. Ever since I kind of got into it, I wanted to know how shows work, how producer agreements work, how, like, boring stuff. It's just the way my brain works. So, like, when I started doing it, I was doing just as much research into it as I was, like, songwriting. Coast Arcade was never approached by a manager, so you just do it, right? Being able to talk to your distributor and connect that to what you're doing in a live space and then connect that to your marketing, your social media, like all of it, kind of wearing that one hat has been a massive learning curve, but I love it. You know, I'm constantly using resources from NZ On Air, the MMF, Independent Music New Zealand, like all of it, Facebook groups, Reddit.
So good.
APRA, like, love them all.
As a solo artist, Bella Rafflyn, you are signed to a label which is called Massive, also 660's label.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how that came about.
So I was doing RockQuest, obviously under my old band before Coast Arcade, Regera, great name. Chris Mack, 660 bass player, was one of the judges for RockQuest, or like the mentor, I guess the mentor.
Sure.
Yeah, and so we arrived. He's going to hate me for telling this story. Don't hate me, Chris. Okay, so we arrived and he was the mentor for that session. He was kind of talking to us, but like it didn't feel like he was like super into it. He was just kind of like, do you know what I mean? Like he was just kind of like, you know, like cool, whatever. And then our bass player, Leo, who's now the bass player in Coast Arcade, pulled out his bass, which was like a Music Man Stingray. And Chris just suddenly was Leo's best friend. Like there was just like a flip. He was suddenly like super like overly friendly. Like he was friendly before, but now he was like our bestie. We go, we play our set. This was the year that COVID cancelled the final, but they still had the final, like the televised
I do remember
final.
that.
It was really busy, but we played it and we came off. And suddenly Chris comes back and he's talking to me. He's like, that was so awesome. Like I could tell from the way you put on your guitar, like that this was serious business. Like I wasn't sure about you before, but now like I think you guys are sick. And then he's like, I'd really love to do some writing with you. And I was like, oh, I gave him the band's Instagram. He's like, no. He didn't want the band's Instagram.
Sorry,
he was
band.
like, do you have a music Instagram? I was like, yeah. And so from there, we started songwriting together. We got an NZ On Air development funding round,
Awesome.
which was great. It gave us kind of a chance to get in the studio and explore some of these songs we'd written. And we just like clicked instantly.
What would be a challenge that you've found with working with a label versus being independent?
With anything in the music industry, and I guess with like life in general, there's pros and cons to everything, right?
Yes.
You know, being with a label has been awesome because you're getting opinions from people that aren't just people who are on your side or your team. Like it's people who have loads of experience with breaking new artists or artists internationally or making successful careers out of artists is what they do. So being able to learn from the label and get that sort of guidance is insane. And that's been a huge asset. You know, obviously being with a label does mean that you have to kind of release to their schedule a little bit more, or kind of there's a give and take of how much control you do and don't have, you know, like it's your brand, it's your songs. But, you know, labels do weigh in with opinions on things because that's their job. So sometimes that's difficult. And if you're someone that like really likes having control over what you do, then you want to look at that and how much control you're happy to give up. For me, I really like being in control of what I do, but I'm really lucky with my label to be able to have like just honest conversations. Again, back to communication. It's like I'm able to go to them and be like, hey, I really think we should do this. And they're like, yeah, sick. Or they'll be like, nah, you know, maybe we take it from this angle. Being independent on the other side of things is like you're doing everything 100% yourselves. You know, your distributor is different and they're doing your Spotify pitching. You're having to front up the funds for your recordings, your music videos, your this and that, your NZ On Air funding applications, your AMA applications, all of that you do 100% yourself.
All of the things.
All of the things, right? There's nothing, because there is no one else to do it for you. So if you don't do it, it doesn't get done.
The song that you're performing for us today is called Corduroy Boy.
Yep.
Tell us what that song's about.
I have this thing where I'll just like, in my notes, write down words that rhyme or words that, like, titles that are cool. Because songwriting, like, I'm not some, like, really intense poet. Like, it's not deep and meaningful. It's just, like, it just says whatever and it just does the lyrics, right? Just says the thing. Chris says it just does the thing. And so Corduroy Boy, corduroy,
Yes.
the fabric.
Love corduroy.
Boy, that's what it is.
Love the boy, sure.
Yeah, love the boys. And so I kind of started playing with these two words, and I feel like Australian and Kiwi, like girls particularly, but anyone can relate to, like, this certain type of person or boy who they would, like, wear the corduroy boy, like corduroy, they have the flannel shirts, they wear hemp. Like, if I were to pick apart, like, they're in the Mount, there's lots of them.
Which is where I'm from.
I know, which is where I reference. I'm like, you know.
I get it.
They surf, they listen to indie music, and, like, lots of them are lovely, but lots of them also, like, really cultivate this look of being, like, it's their look, it's their, like, whole energy and vibe is Corduroy Boy. So I wrote a song about it.
Love that.
Yeah, and that's what the song's about. It's just about kind of making fun of them, but I also am obsessed, so
I love that.
it's a love-hate relationship.
I love that. One of the best parts about intros is discovering new artists. Do you have an artist that you would love to shout out right here, right now?
Right here, right now.
On intros.
I would like to shout out. Oh, there's so many.
I know.
That's unfair. Do you know what? I love my little bestie, Frankie Venter.
We love Frankie.
Yeah, we do love Frankie. I think she's been on before.
Yeah.
I watched hers this morning.
So good.
I went through and watched all of them because I was
love
nervous.
it.
I saw Nao's 360 in her chair and I was like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And then I didn't commit to the
You
bit.
can still do that.
I'll do one later, off camera.
Bella, it has been an absolute honour to have you in the seat today. In the seat, I don't know what we're calling it, but
The eggshell.
thank you so much for being here, for just sharing and being so willing to have this conversation about your life and your journey. You're a wonderful human.
You are
And you're
too.
21, and I can't wait to see how this journey unfolds for you and what's next and all the music that you create. So thank you so much. Thanks for being here. It's been lovely to chat to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
So
I
welcome.
really appreciate it. I love what intros brings to the industry. I love what it does for our wahine. I love all of it. I love the vibes. So thank you very much for not just this, but this.
Thank you. Yeah, this is a really cool high five. I've got a skirt on.
Corduroy boy walking past. Have you seen where I last left my head? 'Cause I left it somewhere. I can see in your eyes that you like, that you're mine. Can I get drunk off your perfume one more time? I guess that's fine. Corduroy boy, what's in your headphones? Are you listening to Mac DeMarco too? I bet you do. Corduroy boy, I have fun when you're over. We talk about the shit we do and we're not sober. Would you believe that I'm not who I want to be? And I only feel okay when you're close to me. And I'll just sit and stare while you run your fingers through your hair. You're mine in my mind. Boy, quit looking at me that way. Corduroy boy, I have fun when you're over. We talk about the shit we do and we're not sober. Would you believe that I'm not who I want to be? And I only feel okay when you're close to me. Corduroy boy, I have fun when you're over. We talk about the shit we do and we're not sober. Would you believe that I'm not who I want to be? And I only feel okay when you're close to